So I just actually left my client's house and we were having the conversation about our core today. So I hope you guys can hear me okay, because I'm just trying to hold it here and it's actually raining. It's really getting ready to storm pretty badly. So I figured I would do a little scope before I went to go get my lunch, and I just wanted to talk about your core a little bit. So this was a huge problem for me. Thank you everybody for joining. So in Meltland, we really talk about our neurocore, right? So we actually try to get you to not be so rigid in your core. And especially these days, core work is such a huge, everybody's gonna strengthen your core. Everybody wants to stabilize your core. I mean, I still meet people that do they're like, oh, I have a really strong core. I do like 1,000,000 crunches all day long. And it's not really gonna do you a whole lot of good, right? Because in Melt, we really teach people about, oh, it's so irritating. I know, right? It is. And I mean, it's just like the worst thing that we can do for our core, because it's actually a neurological stabilizing system. And so you hate the crunch people, I know. I'm like, and they're just, there's always this rigidness that you can see. There's an energy pattern, I think, that you can witness in the body, and it's just their movement doesn't look fluid. And so when we talk about in Melt, we talk about your core, and we talk about how it is that neurological stability system. So we have our reflexive core that is protecting our abdominal organs and our spine, and it kind of hugs our belly. And then our rooting core, our rooting mechanism, going from the arches of the feet up through the whole center line of the body to the top of the head, and it's helping to keep us balanced against gravity's forces. And so when it comes to our core, it's really a whole body stability system, and it's really neurological because it's working 24/7 for us. And I know that I don't know if you can actually see it, but I have my shirt on. This works. So I was just having this conversation with my client who was totally shocked with like, what? Wait a second. It's ideally at a low load contraction, always. Exactly. It's subtle. It's super, super subtle. And the way that we help people find it in Melt is by making a sound. So we really just kind of increase the vibration that the diaphragm is already sending every time we breathe. And so our core is actually on all the time, 24/7, right? And like Amanda said, it should be low load. So it's super subtle. No gripping of the belly, no hard bearing down of the belly, no jamming your pelvic floor up into the belly. And it's just, you want to think about subtleness. You want to think about suppleness. And you want to think about, if you were to make the sound shh, like you're telling somebody to be quiet, if you start to practice that and start to notice that there's this natural hugging, and it's very gentle, like a hugging of a baby, right? You wouldn't go be in muscly bounds with a baby. And so you want that to be super, super subtle, and see if you can start to find your contraction, your core, just in your everyday things. When you exhale, when you breathe, it's happening every time you exhale. There's a natural inward contraction, and it's subtle. It's nothing that you're gonna feel like muscly or bearing down, and it should actually help you feel really good. It should make your movement feel lighter. It should make your movement feel more effortless. You like to say it's a breathing down, not a bearing down. Exactly. Yeah, exact. Jinx, we just said the same thing. I know. And it's true, because coming from my background of Pilates, I mean, listen, that's the way that I was taught, right? The core, all about the transversus abdominis, the internal, external obliques, and, the pelvic floor muscles, and the, that's how I was taught. And we were really, in my training, we were taught to really focus on feeling that contraction. And it totally blew my mind my first Melt training when I heard Sue, my teacher, our mentor, and our teacher, talk about the neurocore, about it being a neurological stabilizing system. And then Liz Koch, the same thing, the psoas guru, talks all the time about the suppleness and the fluidity of our core system. And so that was just what I wanted to come on and kind of just to give you a little food for thought, to see if that in your movement, instead of thinking of doing a million crunches all day long till the cows come home. It's not going to do you any good. It's not going to stabilize your core. If muscles were indeed separate, traditional anatomy would make sense. Exactly. They spend a lot of time separating those muscles and making them look all nice and separate, but that's not how the body works. It doesn't work that way. It's really integrated, and it's a complete system that's working all the time to stabilize us. And it's really on a neurological level. So I think that kind of stepping back and getting to the point where we stop telling the body what to do and we start checking in with it and start just seeing if we can make little changes on reflexive levels, the way that our body on a neurological level is working for us all the time. Like, we can't turn things off and, like, you know, turn things on and off when we want to, right? And so with Melt, that's the biggest thing that we do, is we really just teach people how to start checking back into their body. And so you can start to notice how efficiently things are working, even how you're resting. Right? So, like, how efficiently are you resting? Because, I mean, so many times, love checking in. Me too. I mean, it has changed my life. I used to have so many back problems, and the longer that I taught Pilates, the worse my back problems got. The more Pilates trainings that I did, the more people that I met that were like, the more people that I met that were like, work your core harder, the more my back hurt. Like, my back hurt so bad. I had a couple herniated discs that doctors were like, well, they're not going to get better unless you have surgery. And I was actually so frustrated that I couldn't help my own body. And I knew that something was missing, but I didn't know what it was because I wasn't meeting anybody. Oh, love that cue. Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I actually, when I started doing Melt, when I was introduced to the reflexes of the system, to the neurological mechanisms of our body, it literally changed my life. I never had the back surgeries. I don't have back problems anymore. My back has never felt better. And I actually have tools now that I can check in with my body every day. And if I do, like if I have a really intense dance rehearsal, and I do feel a little sore, I actually have tools to help that, like, erase that from my body so it doesn't get stuck and I don't, wake up and have more sediment than what I did the day before. But I would say, I won't get off too much on a tangent because I love to talk about this stuff, but really just with the core, see if you can find an easier flow with your movement. See if you can start to understand that the core is a whole body system. It's a neurological system. And so stop looking at the body in separate parts. And you're not going to work and isolate one muscle thinking that you're not working anything else in the body. It just doesn't work that way. And our body is way smarter than we are. So just see if you want to do the little sounds. We use sounds in Melt with our rebalance sequence, which is all about helping you find your core and mobilizing the diaphragm. And then see if you can use the sound. We use the sound shh, like you're telling somebody to be quiet, and just see if that helps you to finally start to check in and feel that subtleness of your core. And if you're somebody that has back problems, if you start to do that on a regular basis, start to have less bearing down in your core and more suppleness, then I think you're going to really start to notice that your back feels better. Because like I said, I don't have back problems anymore. And I don't even have to feel like I'm going to knock on wood when I say that, because I know that I've been able to actually stabilize my neurological core. And then all the way through the whole kinetic chain, it has helped my hips and my knees. And if anybody's followed me on my blog, I had a pretty wicked ankle injury that Melt has just been amazing with helping. So just try to see if you can find a little bit more suppleness in your core. Don't be rigid with your movements. Don't grip your butt. Don't grip your core. Don't try to pull your abdominal muscles in and jam your shoulder blades down. Try to just see if you can find more subtleness in your movement, more suppleness, and just check in with what your body's already doing for you. So that is just what I wanted to come in to say today, because I just had this conversation with my client and she was like, what? It just totally blew her away. So I just wanted to come on and share that. I don't know if you guys can hear the rain or not. It's really coming down here. So it's kind of good I did this. I can kind of hang in my car until the rain goes away. Thank you. I'm so happy that you're on Periscope now. So yeah, so you can hear it. Yeah, it's really coming down. We've had a rainy morning. And so I can't wait to see your first scope, Amanda. I was so happy when I saw you on there yesterday, or the other day when I saw that you had, finally got onto Periscope. So I followed you. Don't be scared. And the more that you do it, the easier it gets. Maybe we could like co-scope. Maybe we could do like a Skype scope session and we could just talk melt shop. I would totally love to do that with you. So we could like Skype and then have our phone set up where they're pointing so that way people can see. Yeah, so let's do it. I'll message you later on today or tomorrow, and then we'll set that up maybe for next week or something. We'll try a little co-scope session, and just talk some melt shop. So in Melt, our whole purpose is that we want you to start to check into your own body and start to really understand how your body moves, how it's resting, and then see if it feels a little better. Most of us do Skype sessions, so remember you can follow me. You can find me over at The Dancing Soul, SOUL.com, and I do Skype sessions with my clients, all kinds of different stuff. So if you're interested in learning how to move more efficiently, yeah, and if you're on here, Melt Teacher right here, Amanda just said I do now, so you can tap her and follow her profile. She also, and she's one of our master trainers. She's studying to become a teacher trainer with Melt, so we're super proud of her and all the other ladies. And so yeah, we're here to help you. We're here to help you help your body to work more efficiently for you, so you have less pain, you move more efficiently, and you also have more emotional stability. It's brilliant work. And remember what I told you on a couple scopes before, connective tissue is our largest sensory organ. So definitely some really cool stuff that we can do when it comes to the Melt work and helping our body just work more efficiently, so we age better and we feel better and we have less pain.